Well, look, hey, we are here at our virtual production set, and I'm joined by Matt from Ross Video. Matt, it's great to have you here. I know we talked a little bit about some of the technology happening behind the scenes a little bit, but wanted to introduce you to some of our crew. It's great to have you here, but just give us a quick behind the scenes look. What are some of the things that we're doing out here this year at the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're clearly in a virtual set right now, so we're providing virtual sets. We have some robotics. Our newest switching platform is kind of driving everything in the background, along with our expression and Voyager system. So it's a great show. We're really excited to be a part of it and to be here with you guys.
Well, Matt, we're standing in one of those virtual sets right now. I know we've got a number of different looks that you'll see later on throughout the show, but one of those is a courtroom. We've got, oh, well, there it is, fantastic right there. We've also got a classroom and a number of different other things that you'll see, like I said, throughout the rest of this week. But Matt, I want to ask, when it comes to a lot of the technology that you see here, obviously Ross Video has been leading the way from a broadcast standpoint for a long time. Why is now really a good time to try things like this at a show like InfoComm?
Yeah, absolutely. There's just been this convergence over the last several years of AV and broadcast, and it's becoming more and more adopted across no matter what vertical you're in or what kind of environment you work in. So communication is really important. We want to make sure that we have really sharp communications versus maybe letting software all the time drive how we record something or talk to the public. So whether it's corporate addressing, shareholders or CEOs with the news or anything like that, we just want to make sure that people have a really clean experience and really engaging content. So we're just here to help kind of bring that along and expose people to what they can leverage for AV and broadcast and how it can all go together. So,
well, you talked about kind of the convergence of AV and broadcast. Obviously, Ross Video, incredibly well known in the world of broadcast, but in the AV community, you see so many different people and providers, but the world of broadcast really has almost fully permeated the world of AV, whether that's because of camera technologies, IP delivery, things like that. Why is it so important for Ross Video to be at a show like InfoComm specifically that's geared towards the AV community?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more about how we can leverage our solution in your environment versus saying you should adopt our solution just because it's broadcast, right? So we want to help partner and educate the people who are at InfoComm who need the education, need the experience and exposure to what they might need, the tools they can provide. So when they go back to their offices and try to get funding for new technology, things like that, they're saying the right things, they're going to the right partners, all these different tools to just equip them to be more confident as they go into this next venture of AV and broadcast, if you will.
Well, I know folks are excited to see Ross Video out here again. You guys have been out here for quite a long time. But I'll tell you what, Matt, I think our folks at the desk have a few more questions for you here in just a little bit. So I'll let you jump out. But hey, this is a great first segment here at the virtual set. It's incredible to see everybody. Got a lot more coming throughout the rest of the show.
He's always pulling those little secrets out of the bag, isn't he? The Ben Thomas over the virtual production studio there.
Oh,
but it's going to be an absolute pleasure to work with Video. I know we've had the partnership with them before, we worked together and all that. So looking forward to the extra dimension.
Oh, absolutely. I wonder what other fun places we can figure out to put Ben. I've got some ideas.
Yeah. See what we can do. But yeah, good stuff. Thanks so much, Ben. Now I'm pleased to have Matt Morgan rejoin us here at the desk, along with his colleague Jared Schatz at Ross Video. Welcome both of you to the show. How are preparations going so far?
Thank you. We're excited. No one can see it on the live stream, but behind us is a giant crane and all sorts of busy work going on to make this exhibition happen. So it's amazing that you were able to get this up and running a day before everyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always fantastic to be on the show while it's kind of being built up around us, get that energy and all that kind of thing. So viewers at home might not be able to see it. We've got a few people here in the studio looking out in this, it's going to be all built up and ready by tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to jump in with some questions. First of all, it'd be great if you could tell us what makes Ross Video's approach to your video production solutions both radical and practical.
So that's both ends of the spectrum. On the radical side, what we really have is a full portfolio of products that cater to different budgets, but really the essence and the heart of our products carry from a robot in front of a musician, whether it be Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Some of those feature sets actually are included in our series that are more economical. That holds true with our video switchers, our graphic systems. So it's pretty radical for some of our customers to to really experience some of these amazing feature sets that were developed for broadcast in the largest sports stadiums in the world, and then kind of brought into the rest of our portfolio. And from a practical standpoint, we cater to the operator. So we have different ways to use the equipment, whether it's a simple touch application for someone that's not technical. Like if I were running this show, someone could build me we could have a touch application, whereas someone more technical can use the full control surfaces and things like that. So we really care about workflow, and that makes it more practical because it's easier to put on a high quality video production or experience.
Absolutely.
And as technology is continuing to advance, we're seeing more and more installations and applications of virtual solutions. So can you just share a little bit about how virtual technology is really revolutionizing and changing the AV landscape?
Well, I mean, we kind of see it everywhere now, right? In our car, on our phones. And so it's becoming the new normal, but to incorporate it in a way for higher end production, requires, like I said earlier, workflow tools and things like that. I think it's kind of the expectation now, whether you're at a rock concert or whether you're at a large corporate event, or whether you're watching a broadcast or the Super Bowl or whatever it may be, that there's information, there's visuals that have a relationship with what's going on in the real world instead of kind of the old-fashioned way of presenting information. So it's really, I think, a connection between this information and whatever is on the other end of the camera, which is typically talent like yourselves, or professional athletes or musicians, and really getting this extra experience and a connection into their environment closer to whether the story and the information that's trying to be told.
Yeah, sure. And could you give us some examples maybe of situations where your technology is currently being used?
Yeah, absolutely. So the engagement piece is really important, right? So a lot of people, no matter if you're in finance or you're in production of some sort of equipment, a lot of people are spread out now. So we have some business partners and customers who will develop a product and they'll use AR and virtual technology to share the nuances of a small piece of the product, and they can virtualize it. And because there's different business units, things like that, they can kind of leverage this equipment and this technology to drive the engagement between business units and kind of use it as a celebration of they're about to release something, or just a connection piece across their whole company, no matter if they're spread out across the US or globally or wherever they're at. So it's that engagement piece of leveraging something that can be practical of here's our equipment or our product that's about to hit the market, or something revolutionary that they're going to bring to the healthcare field or anything like that. So you have everything from something that's interactive, an AR piece, to a flat background. So behind us, that could all be fake. It could all be fake right here, but it's just flat, and it gives them a better experience for 1 second they're in a virtual environment, and the next second it looks like they're standing in front of just a backdrop that's very clean and able to present in a very professional way to an external audience, if you will. So there's a couple different examples there.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, and as part of the audience, it's just magnificent for me just to see how all these little pieces get pulled together, and somebody who's still newer to the industry, it just seems very technical and just difficult to execute, something like me. But is that truly the case? Is it something though that is not as difficult to pull off?
The way that I like to say, I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to technology. So in my previous world of being an engineer and things and working with colleagues, I would say I need something to be map proof. So kind of as we were saying before, you could have an operator, as Jared mentioned, who knows how to run the switchers and all these different things and can bring it up from zero. And then you have other people who are more executors, and we can build buttons and ways to automate things and movements. So yes, and both are true. So someone who might be new into the field, or they might be somebody who is used to more typical AV and legacy AV solutions where they walk in a room and they just need a button to make something work. We can do that. But then that same environment can be powered by a bigger production piece to have that kind of more top tier production interaction, whether it's a studio or a live environment or even just a flex lobby space where there's a TED Talk in the afternoon, and then later that evening they're going to watch a hockey game or football, soccer, anything like that. So all can be true, and that's really the beauty of things right now, and how technology's pushing forward with broadcasters kind of adopting legacy AV and really listening to the customer of what they need to increase that engagement and have more robust back-end solutions and things like that. So doing more with less is typically what we hear now, right? So we want to be able to match that.
That's true in all industries, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're always interested in talking about trends as well, and we're seeing an increased merging of AV and broadcast. So it'd be really, across all those markets, it'd be really great to get your insights on this trend and how Ross Video are contributing to that integration.
Sure, I'd love to answer this one, Matt.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that broadcast has always had amazing workflows within a particular function and product. So there's a video server system, and it has more capabilities than you would have in the AV space from a playlist standpoint and content getting in and collaborative work environments. But all these separate products, they have amazing workflows, but historically they weren't integrated amongst one another. So you would have operators everywhere operating their single product. Whereas in the AV space, you kind of had the opposite, where there's been control systems for room automation and things like that. The products were not as full featured. When you get into more of these higher end applications, like flexible live event spaces that we're seeing in corporations. And so the trend we're seeing, and that I think we're a leader in, is really kind of the integrated broadcast AV solution, where the different components work together and you can automate as much or as little as you want, but make it simple and make the quality good every time.
Because I suppose it's one thing trying to get installing those products, but if it's too complicated for people to use, then their investment isn't the tech, it's training, it's this, that, it's everything. You don't want to have to sell something that requires a PhD to operate, right?
Exactly.
And so we're seeing virtual projection and a lot of these studios popping up everywhere, but beyond traditional broadcasting and studio productions, where else do you see significant potential for virtual and augmented reality solutions in our industry?
We're seeing it in every vertical market that we focus on strategically. So this would cover live events, which would also cover touring and staging. Of course, broadcast. It's always been in film and post-production, which is not a big focus for us. In the education space, we have a university that's using a flexible live event space for their journalism school, as well as they have a department where they're teaching people how to write video games. They have an esports department, and the campus will use it for messaging as well. So it's used almost like in a corporate environment where there's internal customers that book the space, and they use it differently from day to day. So we're seeing it, like I said earlier, in education, in corporate, in broadcast, touring, live events, you name it. And I think, the big difference is it's easier to use now. Whereas if you go back 5 years, it was really designed for, super expensive productions. Or people with massive budgets.
I could talk to you guys for ages. I'd love to. We're running out of time, so one thing I'd really like to get to is, Ross Video, you're going to be hosting a couple of workshops here at InfoComm 2024. Could you give us just a quick roundup of what attendees can expect to see from those?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to have one workshop that's meant to just be a conversation to bring broadcast and AV together, this convergence. So we're talking about integrated video solutions, as Jared mentioned, of how we can take some of the old, some of the new, or just bring them all together. Again, just educating on what you need to say, what are the components of these solutions that you need to go back and be, to make an educated next step in what you might be looking for a flex space, an event space. If you're an educator for School of Journalism or something, what do you need? Is there anything available that you can use? So anything that's integrated with AV and broadcast. We're going to be talking about that. We have some really good industry experts that are on the Ross team who are going to be here for that. And then we're also going to be talking about virtual solutions in communication. So kind of what we're doing here at the AVIXA Studio and how you can leverage the same equipment for a really good cost and entry point level, whether it's a Ross solution or another solution, but same thing, educational, being able to come back and say, we need to do this and here's the reasons why, or why it might benefit you and your team as you continue to grow and want that external focus. So, yep.
Excellent. Well, and if anyone wants to come and ask more questions, you guys are going to be at the show the whole time. The booth is right near the AVIXA TV Studio as well.
Right over there.
So, well, thank you so much both of you for joining us.
Yeah,
thank you all.